Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to the Pixel Venture Podcast. My name's Jake.
And I'm Corey.
And I have a mystery from today.
Oh, we're
that
not.
I haven't been able to solve.
Okay, so we're not going to be copying the same intro from the previous 2 episodes. This is a game changer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. What is said mystery?
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you the story and slowly give the details, cause it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I go down to get myself lunch at noon, right? And my mom had just come back from doing some grocery shopping or whatever, and she walks up to me and she asks, "Hey, did you order a package recently?" And I said no, and she hands me a package that had been addressed to me. And I noticed that not only did it have the address sticker, which I'll be getting back to, it also had a sticker from a company called Amora Coffee, which I've never heard of. And it was in a shipment package, so I'd gone up to my room to grab a pocket knife to help open it. While I was up there, I decided to check my bank account to make sure I hadn't ordered anything, and I hadn't, because I was worried that somehow someone got my credit card and ordered something for me.
And just ordered coffee for you?
I'll get to that. There was nothing wrong with my bank account, so I go back down with a knife. I open up the package. The first thing I find is a piece of paper that said "thank you" on the front of it. And when I unfolded it, it was a note basically saying, "Dear Jake, thanks for being a loyal customer, blah blah blah." And the only other thing in the package was 3 bags full of ground coffee, full of their seasonal pecan roast.
Dude, pecan roast though. Hell yeah.
And at the bottom of the note, it had a little receipt that said that what they had sent me was, including shipping, $50 worth of coffee.
What?
The bags were $15 each, $45 plus $5 shipping and handling. I got $50 of coffee, and I have no idea why.
What? Did you order from them before?
No.
Did someone in your family order from them before?
No.
Do we have a sponsor and we don't know that?
The weirdest thing ever is it was shipped to me under my name, which had me wondering, because it has my address and it has my name, but it says my name is Jake, but everything that I put my name into, I put it in as Jacob. So where did it get my name as Jake that also has my address?
Oh. I have no idea.
It couldn't have been from, my card information, because all of that is Jacob. It couldn't have been...
Could have been college stuff or high school. Did they find a high school video and just be you know what this kid needs? Some coffee.
I don't know, because even the college and the school officially know me as Jacob, so someone would have to know that, it's been weirding me out, and I decided to do some research on who Amore Coffee is. And when you first search it, you know how in Google, on the right half of the screen, it'll show some general basic info about places?
Yeah.
And it'll show the hours, where they are, blah blah blah, phone number. There were 2 pictures. One was of a bag of their ground cold brew coffee, and a picture from Google Maps. And it wasn't there's a specific location. I believe they don't have any physical locations from what I could find. It just showed a giant circle in the northeast of America. It encompassed, like, the entirety of Connecticut, like, half of Rhode Island, a big chunk of, like, western Massachusetts, a third of New York, and, like, a bit of New Jersey and, like, Philadelphia.
You're brewing this coffee though, right?
I'm gonna try it, cause I looked at the reviews.
Because I was going to say, if you don't use it, I will.
But, like, not only do they have, like, some, like, apparently a huge chunk of the Northeast, but I think they're based in, like, Alabama, because that's, like, where all their addresses are.
Do we have, like... Do we somehow
here's
have,
one
like...
more thing.
Hmm?
I was looking at reviews for the place, and if this is a sponsor, I'm sorry, but there were basically two different types of reviews for the place. Either 5-star reviews saying that their coffee is great, can't start the morning without it, like, perfect for the workplace, blah blah blah. Or they were 1-star reviews saying that they wish they could give negative star reviews saying that the company is a scam, because what they do is they have deals where you can buy a full bag of coffee for $1. But then what they'll do is they will ship you more and more coffee that you do not order without a subscription, basically. And they'll charge you for it. And people are saying they're being charged like $60, $70, $80 for coffee they didn't know, like, they were going to be sent. And apparently the customer service is, like, really bad and annoying and rude. And, like, what they're doing is they're making the people who get the coffee, who've already been charged for it, not be able to get their money back until they send the coffee back and report another refund.
So, are you going to get charged for this?
I don't know. Because the thing is, like, it sounds like I'm going to get charged. But again, I've never ordered from this place. I've never heard of them. So, like, I'm basically keeping an eye on my bank account to make sure I'm not getting charged, like, the money. Because, like, I don't know where it came from. But I've never ordered from them before. I never did, like, the $1 thing. And if it was from my card, it wouldn't have said Jake, it would say Jacob. Which, again, brings us back to the mystery. Who the fuck's calling me Jake?
I have one, like, little suspicion thing, but I don't know if that would be it.
What is it?
On the podcast, we've only ever referred to you as Jake. What if someone figured it out?
But they'd have to know my address. They'd have to know my address, and they'd have to know my last name, which we've never gone over in this episode, and no one can spell it.
Yeah.
An audio listener could not spell my last name.
Yeah. It took forever for me to learn how to.
People who know me can't spell my last name.
What? I know how to spell your last name. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to give it out to the internet.
Most people can.
But, like, damn. I mean...
And, like, what really throws me is the note that says that, like, I've been a loyal customer, basically. But again, I've never ordered anything. So someone else would have had to have been ordering things for a long time, changed their address to have this sent to me under my name.
This is just wild. I have no idea.
Like,
but hey, like,
I mean, I have 3 free bags of pecan coffee, and they smell good.
Yeah.
And everyone says the coffee's good. It's just a scam.
It's good beans. I just paid too much.
They're good beans from Alabama shipped to fucking Boston, but...
You don't think of Alabama as a coffee state, though. Like a place
Montgomery, Alabama's where they're based. They make coffee and tea.
I don't think of Alabama as like a place to grow coffee beans. Jake doing that research.
No, that's me drinking my peppermint tea.
Oh, cool. I thought that was the sound of you typing.
Yeah, no. I've just been going on my wild mystery for like 10 minutes.
That makes no sense. Because, like, I mean, I've seen scams where it's like, go like the ads on TV where it's like, get this rare coin, and then people order it, and then they send you like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Because like I remember back when my grandfather was alive, and when he would come to like live with us during the summer, he used to collect coins, or like get like collector coins, and he called and bought one because I mean, I don't know, he thought that was a good idea. And I remember because right after I got home from like, I think it was either freshman year of high school or 8th grade middle school, I was walking up the hill, and there was just this UPS truck that just came up and was like, do you live in, my address? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, could you sign for this package? And I'm like, well, okay, I guess my dad ordered something. And then he passed me this heavy ass package that like for like little boy me was just way too much. And so I like dragged it up the giant hill that I live on. And then when we got it to the house and everything, my mom was just like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, it's a package for grandpa. And she picked it up and shook it and was just like, I'm calling this company. And like, yeah. I think like the best part from all of that was my grandfather was pissed he never got his coin.
But yeah, like I'm in a complete loss. I don't know, like so few places have my address. Like honestly, the only thing I can think of that has my billing address and the name Jake is probably Steam, but I don't think Gabe is sending me coffee from Alabama.
What if though? Imagine. Like that's just his secret.
A loyal Steam customer.
That's a secret coffee. Little way of just being like, I've seen how long you played Skyrim. Here you go.
And The Witcher.
Yeah. You're going to need this coffee. Oh my god. That's damn, because like the only other times that I've ever had like a package sent to me that I know I didn't order was like having friends buy me stuff online and then just send it to my house as like a gift. Like I've had people do that for birthday gifts and things like that, but like straight up just having like no connection, no real reason for it to be there, like I have no idea how that even happened.
Yeah.
But hey, if the coffee's good, the coffee's good. And if you get scammed...
If the coffee's good and it's not bugged because someone's spying on me, then everything will be good.
You might want to run some tests on it real quick and see if any part of it's open.
Yeah. But hey...
Regardless, after that little mystery, how about what games have you been playing? I don't know how to segue it.
Oh god. I mean, we could talk about games.
Well, would you like to?
Recently I've been getting into For Honor.
That's actually funny you mentioned that. Tomorrow, August 2nd, for when we're recording this, For Honor will be free on the Epic Games Store, which, two things. One, cool, and two, Ubisoft, what did you do?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Like...
I mean, I'm guessing it's like the base game, so they can still make money off of people getting the season pass.
Well, yeah. But like, I've been meaning to play the game, or like, well, I've played it before. I've been meaning to pick up the full game for a long time. And so it makes me happy to see that, the option to pick it up is there. Also, the fact that Alan Wake is being released alongside it, which is one of my favorite horror franchises. But for anyone who doesn't know what For Honor is, it's an online sort of PvP kind of game. Where it has a pretty unique battle system, which I think the only other game that really used something like that is Absolver. With like the different types of blocks. I'll take your word on that. Well, there's the different types of blocks and attacks and moves you can do. There's 3 different factions, I believe, right? Or is there 4 now?
There's 4 now. There's the Knights, Vikings, samurai, and the Wulin from China.
So just to repeat, there's the correct choice and then everyone else.
But yeah, the fighting is mostly there's like 3 different directional attacks of left, right, and top attack.
Mm-hmm.
And there's light attacks, heavy attacks, blocks, parries. Yeah, and it's all combo related. And yeah.
I still think my favorite thing that I did back when the beta was on, we were like messing around with it. My favorite thing was charging at a guy and pinning him onto a torch, like one of those like giant sort of bowl torches that they had, and then smacking him off a cliff. Yeah. That was very satisfying. And I got to see that in a sweet, crisp 8 frames because that was my old laptop. Now I could see it in 15.
Yeah. And now things might be a little bit more stable now that they have servers.
I need to upgrade my laptop bad.
Yeah.
But that's going to be like a lot of money.
Yeah, it'd be a bit.
Well, if I want to get like some decent, I mean, I've seen have you seen the I think it's the new Alienware where they literally put a touch screen, like a mini touch screen above the keyboard, not like a touch bar with the MacBooks, but like literally like the equivalent of the DS touch screen.
Oh, really?
Which I think if anything it would be handy to like throw Discord onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And like be able to switch calls on the fly like that, or if we're recording the podcast and things like that, like I could pull up visuals and stuff on my main screen and then just have that tiny little one. I don't know. I just kind of see that as just another gimmick. A lot of
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan is calling me.
Ryan's calling?
Should I answer it?
Should we add? I mean, if you answer it, can you record it?
I can't record his end of it.
Damn it. Okay, well, you know what? Go ahead and answer, and I'm gonna keep talking to the audience.
All right. The call ended, so I'm gonna recall him. Okay.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a new adventure in the podcast. Oh, there goes Jake. Anyways, it's just you and me again. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know how to feel about that laptop. I kind of understand the gimmick for people who would like to have a second monitor but can't afford to have that set up. But then again, if you want a second monitor and you already have an existing laptop, I feel like it'd be cheaper just to get that. Or hell, I've seen people use TVs, and TVs work just fine.
In the middle of a recording.
I mean, aside from that, I didn't actually say what games I've been playing recently. So there's this game that it's published by Devolvers Digital, who I think they're a great publisher.
You have a recording software on your phone, you want to join in?
A lot of games that they help sort of release and get realized have been great. I mean, I've talked about Enter the Gungeon to death on this podcast, but the game I've been playing recently by them, or released by them, is Ape Out. And Ape Out is pretty unique. It has a nice art style. It's very minimal, but I think it works really well in like its favor. The music is very, very simple. It's just like a drum track that, as you play, gets more and more dynamic. Like when you're attacking the enemies in the game, because you do play as an ape. You're trying to escape a facility. There's these humans and stuff with guns and flamethrowers and bombs and things like that. And you're just throwing them around, picking them up, ripping off doors and using them as shields, things like that. And it's the concept of it is very simple, and the understanding of the controls is very simple. But the biggest thing that really drew me in was actually the difficulty spike. because within the first world, you get a good idea of what you're going to be going up against. And I think that's something that a lot of games aren't really doing as well these days, because either they have long tutorials where they're spoon feeding you exposition as well as press A to jump, like that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, this game, it starts, you're in a cage and it tells you that punch is one button and you move with the stick, and then later it tells you what button to grab, and that's pretty much all you need in order to enjoy the game. And I hope that while I'm explaining this, Jake could throw up maybe the trailer or some gameplay, because honestly, though, like, the gameplay itself, that's not really what sold me. What sold me was actually playing it like for myself, like actually downloading the demo actually on my Switch. I said actually a lot prior to that. Maybe put a counter on screen for that little section. But regardless,
dude, just game end yourself.
Picking it up and actually feeling how smooth the controls are and how responsive just the enemy AI is, because if they hear something, they'll move towards it. If they think you went around a corner, they'll follow. You can kind of juke them out too, which I think is fun. But a smooth night. But yeah, again, the big thing was actually playing the game. God, I've just realized how much I rely on that word. This is actually awful.
No gifts for me.
Well, Jake is still in the call with Ryan. I want to think of a thing to talk about again. Hey, how about music? There's actually been a lot of cool recent releases as far as music goes. I mean, the big notable one from today is Shock One, who is a Australian drum and bass producer. I believe he's Australian. I hope that I'm right with that. But he released an album called A Dark Machine, and I think it is really, really good. I think that listening to the whole album all the way through is very important to me, and I think the way that flows is really well done. I think my favorite songs off of it are Run, Underloved, probably Bleed Black is up there, Willow's Theme as well. Recommend it. It's a lot of drum and bass, some dubstep, some other things like that, but he gives it like this sort of retro feel, like this kind of like almost vintage VHS kind of tone to it, and I think that works really well. Kind of reminds me of if you know of the artist Home, if they took Home's sort of like ambient retro feel and gave it the aggression that music from, say, Muzzy has. Other things to note, Chance the Rapper album is fantastic. Might be my album of the year, although Misery and Desire, I believe, is the name of the East Coast album. I'm going to quickly check that. Misery and Wonder, that's the album. That and A New Day. God, I should probably remember the names of this. The Big Day. Wow, so The Big Day and Misery and Wonder, they're tied for my albums of the year. I think they're absolutely brilliant. But I like both of them for completely different things. I like The Big Day because it shows everything that Chance can do. It shows his range, it shows just what he's capable of as an artist. And I think that's something that's sometimes lost these days, because you have sort of larger artists release albums that are very by the numbers, very corporate, very like tuned to a certain audience. Then you have this album, which goes from R&B type tracks to more aggressive rap and then back, and I think that's really impressive. Then you have Misery and Wonder, which is just a complete trip.
Hey,
welcome back to the podcast, Jake. So how was your conversation with Ryan?
I mean, it was good.
What did you talk about?
So he he didn't know that we were in the middle of a podcast because on Discord you have it set to being away, so he thought that like you weren't going to like be in a call with me.
I forgot that I had set like that. I should probably change that. We're going to do that real quick.
But yeah, we just he's on his way to the train because it's like 12:30 for him.
He is in Japan.
At his time. So he's doing some grocery shopping, or maybe just more general errands, something like that. Oh, he's picking something up as a gift for his family.
Oh yeah, because he's going to be leaving soon, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be leaving them soon, and he's gonna be going to places.
Yeah.
Hiroshima.
I honestly, I think it's so cool that he got the opportunity to go. And just like, it sounds like he really has enjoyed and is looking forward to the time that he has left there. But actually, while you were gone, I talked a little bit about a game that I've been playing recently, Ape Out, which, I mean, I don't know if you know that game, but I think it's very good. And then I got on the subject of music, like some music I've been listening to recently. And there are 3 albums I mentioned. One of them is A Dark Machine by Shock One, Misery and Wonder by East Coast, and The Big Day by Chance the Rapper. And I think all the albums are brilliant for very different reasons. I don't think I thoroughly explained Misery and Wonder yet, which, if you're okay with me sort of doing that and then kind of get into what you've been listening to recently.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Sweet. So, with Misery and Wonder, this came out back in May, but I haven't given the album like a true listen where you listen to the whole thing front to back, no interruptions, no distractions, that kind of thing. I had a few songs that I would jump around to, like Remote Viewing was one that I was listening to a lot, and I mean, you were in the car when that song first came out, and I was like, I'm just going to play this over and over. Because it was just such a fun song, and I actually heard that live before it was an official release at a concert where I did not know who he was. So it was a really cool experience just waking up one day and just be like, oh, he has a new song out. Oh, I wonder how it sounds. And then just hearing that intro and being like, I know it. But yeah, I think it's an incredible electronic like experience. It's very ambient. It can be moody. It can be happy. But there's this nice sort of flow where it hits a high, then goes to a low and hits a high again. And not saying in quality of just like bring you on an emotional journey that really brings you into the head of like the producer himself. And the only other album that really has done that for me is Where's the Drop by deadmau5. Like the orchestral versions of a lot of his songs I think are absolutely beautiful, and it really puts into perspective the way that he approaches actually developing music, because he has this online personality and sort of real life personality of being kind of for lack of better word, a dick, of just kind of like trying to poke fun, make drama, that kind of thing, being bitter towards other labels and things like that. But then you have this musical side of him which just wants to flourish. You gotta respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some music I'm listening to. Of course, there's more bands and stuff than I have been, but there will be a point in the future where I'm going to go a bit more in depth with music that I've enjoyed listening to this year. Some people who have already followed my account probably know what I'm talking about, but if not, go over to Instagram, follow at kbryant685, and then when December rolls around, enjoy what I'm doing, I guess. Oh, and one thing, actually, we do have, speaking of interacting with Instagram, I do have a list of suggestions for films for us to cover.
Do you?
Yes. So, allow me to quickly grab the post from archives.
So, I think we should make it a surprise.
Could I at least give like 2 extremes?
Sure. Okay. Or you could like pick a few. Well, how like is there like a rough estimate for like how many films?
The list right now is 7.
You could pick like maybe like 3 or 4 of them and have them be like the choices for next time.
Okay. Can I just quickly do? I would just want to say one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was actually sent. You might remember from high school, Keelan.
Oh, I remember Keelan.
And immediately after he sent this, he sent me a DM and said, "Please know that this is a joke and not a legitimate recommendation."
So it's a legitimate recommendation.
We're going to watch this, Keelan. I hope you know. If you're listening to this, thank you for this suggestion. He suggested Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
Adam Sandler.
And Adam Sandler.
But a girl.
Jack and Jill.
Oh my god. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, one of the movies though on the list, because I feel like we should just take a day where we hang out and just watch all of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them we don't have to do again because it actually is one of Whitney's friends, Omar, who is cool in my book. He didn't really suggest a thing, he just made a statement of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is the best movie ever, you can't change my mind. I agree. To a degree. I think for what it needs to be and what it wants to do, I think it's an incredible movie. Best movie ever. I feel like that's a title that just never will have a right pick. Cause that's like
Looks like I might have to watch that film for the first time.
Wait, you still haven't watched it?
Nope.
Oh yeah, because the time that we watched it back in January, you had to cancel.
I did?
Yeah. Cause like I got a bunch of people, like we went over.
Is that why I was in Boston? Is that because I went back to Boston?
I think it was because you went back to Boston. Oh my god.
Hey.
Okay, we're gonna sit down and watch it, and I'm gonna like put duct tape over my mouth so I don't say all the production details and everything.
You're gonna put duct tape over your mouth, and you're gonna duct tape my eyelids open so I have to watch it.
Oh, and I'll get a straight jacket so I don't flail for the controller to pause and be like, "Look, see, that's a reference," like that kind of stuff.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. We've already explained this.
We could have people choose between those two and which one we go for.
All right, we're gonna put a poll up on my Instagram account at kbryant685, as I've stated earlier. Jack and Jill or Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Either way, it's going to be a treat. So, that will be for next episode. We'll have like a little movie review corner. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, we can do whatever the hell we want with this podcast. We could burn it to the ground right now. Say the N-word.
Next time.
Whoa, I thought you were going to be like, thanks for listening. It's like, we just hit 34 minutes.
Yeah, no, we're like, yeah.
We're at the strict halfway point. Like, we gotta keep talking. We gotta figure out what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, our episodes used to be 30 minutes.
Yeah, but we also used to have like 1 viewer. Now we have 3.
Yes, we have to keep them captive even longer.
Oh my god. You know, I'm happy with what's going on with the podcast. Because,
yeah.
I mean, again, it's easy to get caught up with numbers and stuff, but the main thing is that we want to record, we want to put something out there, and if people resonate or enjoy it, they can keep listening. If not, then there's plenty of other channels that could cater to what they want.
Yeah, and it gives us an opportunity to have our own little brand that's ours. And I think in a perfect world, we would have the ability to be like, hey, we're with the Pixel Venture podcast. Can we get free passes to this thing? As like news reporters.
Yeah, your idea of making it is mooching off of other companies. I got it.
I mean, imagine how cool that would be if we could just be like, hey, we're with Pixel Venture Industries. We're here.
We're not going to become an industrial brand. Are you kidding me?
That's just a name, goddammit. They don't need to know.
We're two doofuses with mics, all right? Like, there's... Like, you know what?
Exactly, we're reporters.
Oh my god. I like to just imagine that there's, like... I want to imagine that next E3, you fly out and just go up to, like, one of the security guys and they're like, where's your pass? And you're like, excuse me, I'm here with Pixel Venture Podcast. I'm doing some floor reporting, and why are you picking me up? Like...
I go to BlizzCon saying I'm doing reporting. I just end up, like, doing jack shit the entire time.
Oh my god, dude. Honestly, though, if it did get to a point where we could, like, possibly go to events and, like, report and do stuff like that. I mean, we could do that anyways. Like, I go to enough conventions where I could kind of do, like, floor kind of things. I mean, of course, I'll edit them to be kind of dumb and not professional, but I feel like that's just kind of our brand of just not really knowing what we're doing. I mean, hell, we've given up on planning podcasts. Like, literally when we started this, I was like, I have no idea what we're talking about.
And all I knew was I had my little package mystery to talk about.
And then you left the call and put me on the fucking spot.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to have a brand. And if it grows, then that's cool. But if it doesn't, then it could at least have a small community of people who can get together and connect and chat.
Yeah. As long as, like, people are having fun and we're having fun, we're still going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Cut to a week later. Guys, the podcast is over. Jake stole my Cheerios while we were watching Jack and Jill.
Hey, it wasn't my fault. He started by stealing the coffee.
He took all the coffee beans and stuffed it in his shorts and ran away and left me with the CD and nothing else.
I replaced his Scott Pilgrim movie with Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it back.
Yeah, none the wiser. Oh my god. You know what? I'm happy with this. But
yeah,
hey, as much as
I think it'd be nice to, like, expand a little bit. Like, what?
Not?
Did you just say what I think you just said?
So we're going to be expanding the brand a little bit.
I think it'd be nice to, like obviously the podcast is you know, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to just, like, talk about things. But, like, we've talked about, like, the reviews that we might do in the future.
I have been trying to write a full review for Enter the Gungeon. Because I feel like after putting 100 hours in it, I can kind of confidently say how I feel.
Yeah. And then there's Jake's Takes, which definitely deserves its own.
An animated
imagine
series.
Like a debate styled, like, thing where it's me just talking, like, shit out of my mouth with, like, other people.
Dude, I would love that if we got guests on where you know that they have very polarized and political views and you just fuck with them.
I do like a change my mind, but my opinions are actually, like, completely just batshit crazy.
It would be like Between Two Ferns. I don't know if you ever watched that series.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I love it so much. I aspire to be as funny as Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Like, just his ability to just think on his feet and just make people feel so awkward and just be presenting himself like normal. That's just so impressive. Like, I still think...
Yeah.
I forget... I forget who it was they had on the show, but I remember there was this one time where he was just sitting there and he's smiling. He's like, "Do you ever get cold?" He's like, "What?" "For living in your wife's shadow?" And then the guy just slowly puts his head in his hands, and Zach's just sitting there smiling and sipping his coffee. It's just, I love it so much.
But yeah, I would be like torn between like whether I'd want to take it seriously or like make it completely like unbelievably stupid.
I think
Because I like to do both. That's something that makes me indifferent about stuff.
yeah. I think
Like I could imagine like a joking like political thing, but maybe like a serious like philosophical thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing about us is that throughout all the projects that we've been doing just together since we've known each other, we've always been doing a lot of comedy stuff, but we've rarely kind of pushed ourselves to do serious type films. And when we have, people are like, "What are you doing? Like do what you're good at." And it's like, "Well, we want to get good at this too."
Like we mostly do comedy because that's arguably the easiest thing to do, because that way you can literally use like poor quality as a joke.
Yeah, like
Whereas
I mean,
like when you do something more serious, like there's that higher fidelity, I guess, that's expected to go with it.
I mean, frankly, like like you said, is that comedy. It's pretty easy to like justify low quality with comedy because it's just like, yeah, you're getting what you get, like that kind of thing. But the big thing, though, that I argue that comedy is the hardest thing to do, because
it's hard depending on the kind of comedy you're doing, I would say.
yeah, I like you said, like, so it really depends, because like you can pander to a certain audience and that's really easy, but if you're trying to make something that could be like widely accepted as funny, there are so many certain like hoops that you need to jump through. Like there's going to be certain audiences that will hate you, some that will love you. There'll be like subjects that you can talk about today and it will be fine, but then maybe like a year or two down the line there'll be something that happens that immediately makes you racist for something that you said.
But like talking about projects that like we've done, how we generally go towards comedy for those, like an example that like we've done is, do you remember with I'm pretty sure it was with Sabercast when we did the prank video
Yes.
with Tim and the Apples?
Yeah, there's a camera
that was-
there.
Like that was completely just dumb comedy, where like
Oh,
the
God.
fact that like the cameramen were like really shaky, like that was part of the joke.
Yeah, and the
Me
fact that
being
we
the
had
editor, leaving
cameramen
the, like,
everywhere.
Me leaving enter subtitle here and like purposefully adding that, like that was part of the joke,
Yeah,
to like actually add that. Like when it's dumb and it's funny, it's like, you know, anyone can laugh at that, but it's not like quality humor.
that's
It's
why
just easy
slapstick.
humor.
That's why slapstick was huge for a very, very long time. Like
Yeah.
you look at, I mean, Adam Sandler films kind of come to mind, especially Grown Ups. Like there's so much slapstick in that movie because like
Yeah.
the biggest draw of like a lot of those films is this is going to sound mean, but a lot of people when they go to see like a film like that, they don't want to think, they just want to laugh. Like there is some very well thought out comedies that like there's layers to it that you actually have to think about and then it becomes funny.
And then there's always like callbacks and the rules of three.
Yeah, like there's so much that happens with comedy. I mean, hell, like another example, as much as I hate to like remember that we made these videos and we made a sequel because we thought it was good enough, the water bottle duels.
Yeah.
Like that's the first video is probably the worst video I've ever made. Like
You mean we've ever made?
yeah, because I mean, well, you helped to record and then I was like, I'm gonna edit, because I went on movie maker like twice in my life. Let's do Vegas, why not?
Yeah.
And then like I didn't know how to remove audio back then. I didn't know how to put on any filters or things like that, and
None of us did.
yeah, it was a mess. I mean, obviously now I've gotten at least a little more proficient when it comes to editing. I mean, if people want example of how I edit, there's there's a few videos on like my personal channel if you want to search for that. But on here, there's one episode of the podcast that I had to do the edits for. It was the finale of season 1, which actually, I'm trying to think, because I've been debating back and forth whether or not making it public again. Because
I would say do it.
Well, so for anyone who's been listening long enough to remember that that episode was public for a small period of time, there is some problems with kind of not necessarily like the content of the episode. I feel like the episode itself was very well done. There are some certain things though that I would prefer to, if we were to release it again, to redact if possible. Like maybe specific names, things like that, because I love the episode. I think it's solid. I think that there was a lot of good jokes, the story of actually like learning more about me and the situation behind my adoption, things like that. That was important. But there were some problems that kind of like rose from my family here, or just concerns. And I'm sorry to kind of take it down a notch with all of that, but this is honestly why I've been debating making it public again.
You want me to bring it back?
I mean, if you want, and Jake, you can feel free to cut out this part if you want, but should we keep in that explanation?
Sure.
Okay.
What I was gonna talk about was how, like, we usually did, like, comedy videos, but we've done at least one serious video with our apocalyptic video. Or like post-apocalypse video.
Yeah, where the teacher pretended that she didn't give us permission to use BB guns, and then when we had them on screen, they were like,
yeah.
That made me so angry. Because, like, I was very proud of how we did that video.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I didn't know
like,
how to dress.
We did that, like, really well.
Yeah, especially for filming only one day.
One day with, like, the time and the schedule and, like, the equipment we had. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, and there was like a snake or something in like the tall grass and stuff, and I was scared.
And we went to like this abandoned place where like at least like the two of us were like pretty much constantly worrying like what if like we're found and we're like kicked out.
Meanwhile, like we were doing
Justin's
it with
like, get over your fucking pussy.
Yeah, no, he was just like, dude, I come here all the time, and there's like 3 signs that say no trespassing. And like the windows are all smashed in and stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, it's either someone in there is going to turn my skin to a coat, some hand's going to come out of the ground and pull me down, or there's a giant ass snake that's going to eat me. And the grass started moving, and I got real scared.
Honestly, the 20-foot Santa in Mount Vernon would have been a safer place than there.
No, we're not talking about that. I hate it.
Why not?
I hate it so much.
What's wrong with it? It's Christmas time all the time.
It literally like, it's just the fact
there's
that
some dead bodies in there. Who cares?
Oh my god! For anyone who doesn't know, which would be, I think, a good number of people who listen to this actually, there is a large statue of Santa Claus in the woods in Mount Vernon, like which is a town over from me, town where Jake lives. And it's been there forever.
It is the third most well-known part of Mount Vernon, next to a abandoned train exhibit and Purgatory Falls.
I think the general store is notable enough. But
it's seen better days.
But
unless you want to sponsor us, that's great.
This episode brought to you by
by Mount Vernon's general store.
Yeah, get some sandwiches, maybe.
Get some ice cream.
Yeah. But yeah, the reason that I hate it the most is that the paint like from it has like weathered away, so it just has white eyes and like slightly faded colors for the like there was this it was back in March. I was like driving I was with a friend and actually my like younger sister. And I was driving her back to her house, my friend, and I was just like, hey, you want to check out Forest Santa? And my little sister's like, Forest Santa? And so I immediately veer onto that road and I'm like, put on my high beams and I'm like, take a look. And it was like a foggy ass night. So like we were driving and it's very bumpy and horrible because it's March, like all the dirt and like potholes and whatever. And we just see the head rise out of the fog. And immediately we all start just like, I mean, I wasn't scared at all. I was just like making a joke of just be like, oh my god, we gotta go, like just screaming. And everybody else just kind of did the same thing, to the point where like once I dropped off my friend and I started driving back to Boston with my sister, she was really like, you know, I was lying about being scared, right? I don't want you to think I'm a wimp.
Yeah, not like you. And you're like, yeah, I was joking too.
But yeah, that is Forest Santa. You know, out of all the things that could come up with this episode, I didn't think that talking about mystery coffee beans, why I'm like hesitant to air the season 1 finale again, and Forest Santa all in the same one.
And Ryan. All in one episode. What? So, yeah, we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And none of it is coherent in terms of things leading to another.
But hey, you know what? I think that's kind of the power of a stream of consciousness type podcast.
That's our style.
Yeah. Being dumbasses.
Yeah.
But anyways,
high quality non-content.
Yeah, if you're looking for quality content, nope. But anyways, we should actually end right now because it is almost 12 o'clock and my parents are texting me saying, shut up.
And you are also exhausted on top of that.
Yes, it was a very long day at work. Which, I mean, hey, I could probably complain about work next episode if people really want me to.
Unless we suddenly get a Pizza Hut sponsorship.
Then I love my job enough to get more money.
Your job's to die for.
Yeah. Anyways, just as a reminder, there will be a poll on Instagram after this episode goes up to vote for one of the films. From that, we will watch it and give a review. We should make an official review video for it.
Yeah, we could.
Like, we could film it like Red Letter Media style, but like with half of the, you know, wit and charm.
Dude, we could get like a new background for it.
Well, I mean, I was thinking we
like
just
a movie theater.
I was thinking we just record ourselves.
Oh. Or we could do that.
I mean, we could. We'll brainstorm this.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Pixel Venture Podcast. My name's Corey.
And I'm still Jake.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.